I think for a while there, people, and again, it's funny how it works and the hype that kind of drives all of this. But for a while there, it did seem like, Dubois was the guy for the Vancouver Canucks. And, we went into that draft lottery and everybody said, well, if they get one of the top 3, that's considered a win. Oh, and it would have been. Yeah. And they didn't. And then there was frustration and disappointment. And then as people started to look, okay, well, they're not in the top 3, what's available next? And Dubois seemed to be the guy. Yeah. And it's this is my sense. People, feedback on Twitter and just things that I've seen and heard. It seemed like there was going to be some disappointment if the Canucks didn't get Dubois. But now when I look at the kind of season that Tkachuk has had, when he has the tournament that he had at the Memorial Cup, again, do the Canucks need that future number 1 center? Sure they do. But they also need that future number 1 left winger and a guy with bloodlines and a name that's familiar and all those types of things. I don't think Matthew Tkachuk has done anything but help his draft stock here in the last little bit. Were you at all surprised that Jim Benning didn't go into Red Deer to watch the Memorial Cup just to get one last look at Tkachuk and at Ulevy?
I would if Jim Benning was cut from a different cloth and didn't scout a lot. I mean, this guy is, I know he's the general manager of the hockey club, but he might as well be chief amateur scout. He's everywhere. Between him and Weisbrod, they are everywhere looking at guys. That didn't surprise me that much. I mean, I don't think you're going to change your mind on a guy in 10 days, are you? I mean, with everything that's available via watching games or talking to people who are there, I'm sure he had a pretty good feel about it. And quite frankly, they've got some pretty big decisions to make here. They've got their pro scouting meetings next week. Next week is really crucial after the combine because they have to make decisions on, like you said earlier, we're getting into buyout season. And who else is out there? And who else could you move? And what about Dan Hamius? What about Lucas Spiza? What about Jannik Hansen? I think this is a really crucial time. You got to set the table. You got to know what you're doing before you go to Buffalo. That week is now, as you know, it's now trade deadline week. It's not just about the draft. It's about making moves, and Jim Benning's not afraid to make them.